when I started this business, like I was actually success, but right now I'm actually a lifestyle. So along the way, I actually discovered that there's a lot more to fashion than just like really nice brands. Yes, correct. Yeah. So right now we are actually targeting a lot of problems that we may face, like children who user bad, and then we also have heavily for the kind of talks right now, like to give everyone that convenience, things like that. So I feel parenting was very like feel confident with that setting. Because for me, right, after I gave birth, I actually want to talk a lot. Yeah, because I feel like none of the clothes in Singapore can actually fit me well, and I don't look good at in any of the clothes. Yeah. Actually, before we were 1 month, we already started manufacturing, but it forced us to go like full on manufacturing because we couldn't travel to import goods anymore. Yeah. So I started to manufacture like just through WeChat, WhatsApp. So I just text the manufacturers and then they will send the samples over to Singapore and then we'll try on the samples and then we'll ship it back to them again. So from 2020, we just moved into like manufacturing and it was the best decision ever. Because right now, right, I feel a sense of accomplishment whenever like people wear the clothes. Because it's from just from mine and my kids. It's not just like I go to any rack and shop off the rack, you know. Yeah, it's no longer just costing for something nice, but it is an idea that I envision and create. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. Oh yes. I thought you would think that the other one is my son also. Yes. Yeah. It's my husband. Actually, I have 5 children, so from 4 years all the way until 18 years old. Yeah, it's really a big spread. No, actually, I didn't set out to have a big family. It just happened. So initially, when I went full time in 2013, right, I just gave birth to the third son, and then I decided to go into PPZ to benefit full time. So I didn't want to have any children anymore after my third son. But it took me 7 years to finally stabilize the business. Yeah, and then I decided, okay, maybe I can try for another daughter. Yeah, because I really, really wanted a daughter. Yeah, and so I went ahead and tried, and then it was also a son. Yeah, another boy. And yes, that's number 4. And then I was like, okay, since it's so cute, why not I try for one more kid, and then I just raise them together. Since it's COVID, you know. And then yeah, I got my daughter, the youngest one. Yes. You can say that, yeah. Because I feel like my life is a bit incomplete without a girl. Like I always wanted a daughter. So yes, I have 2 brothers, so I don't have a sister. I always wanted a sister because I was like, if I have a sister, then maybe she can also run the business together with me, and then like we can share the workload because it's really a lot of work for one person. Yeah, he used to have a full-time job, but he quit in 2017 to help out with the business because like it was already stable. And I'm like, okay, why not you quit and then we do this together so that we can plan our time and also spend more time with the kids, with the family, so that we can manage our time better that way.
The conversations that you were having with your husband when it came to having for more children, what were some of those obviously more specific conversations like? What were some of the considerations that you had to on it?
I really think that there's not much consideration. After 7 years, I was very firm that I wanted to try for another kid. Yeah, and then like we just went ahead and tried. Yes.
Okay. And that is your, I mean, 5 times over. You've learned practical, again, not a valuable practical insights. 5 times over. What do you think is the most important parenting skill that is required to manage such a large family?
To manage such a large family, I think it's really very important, especially since I am running a business, right? I think it's very important to involve my kids in the work that I do. Because if I don't involve them, right, then it will be very hard for them to actually understand what we are going through. And whether it's just helping out during a live stream or seeing the behind the scenes of the hazard, they are always a part of the process.
Give us a sense of specific duties that you assigned them to involve them in the business.
So for my oldest, right, back then when we first started, it was a bit different because back then we had to do everything ourselves. I have to reply emails, we have to do deliveries. So he actually accompanied my husband to do deliveries, and he also helped with the returns, like when customers return the packages, we'll open and then credit them stock credits, things like that.
Your first boy,
First child. He's 7.
He was 7.
He was 7, yeah. He was 7 years old. And then in 2019, we actually opened a retail store at Orchard Gateway for about one year. So my second son and my eldest son actually helped to prepare all the clothes before the opening every week, like the new arrival. So every Friday night when all their peers are out, maybe they are just in the store steaming clothes. Yeah.
Did they do this willingly or did they see it as a chore? I mean, how did they take to it?
I think they just feel that our work is very tough and they genuinely wanted to help us out. Yes.
So they understood the demands of business, seeing how hard mommy and daddy were working.
Yes, I think because they are with us along the way, like we'll bring them to the office and all, so I think they appreciate the hard work that we put into this business, and they also get a glimpse into the reality of running a business. I hope it also teaches them like hard work and consistency really matters a lot. Yeah.
So your eldest boy is how old again?
He's 18.
Is this still?
He's in the army now.
Okay, so I mean, can't cover.
Yeah.
What he understood, was he also still involved in helping with the business?
The last thing he was involved with was our pop-up at Plaza Sing in January. So he was actually going to enlist in 2 days time, but he was still helping to set up the shop. Yeah.
That's commitment.
Yes, that is commitment.
The girl, the youngest, 4 years old.
Yes.
How is she? I mean, the girl that you're trying to
Wow.
how is she involved in this?
I think a lot of people, a lot of my customers, viewers will know her because she's very active on TikTok with me. Like she's actually part of the live post because during CNY she was the kid model. Yeah, my number 4 and number 5 they were the kids model for the brand. Like we have some kids clothing. Yeah, so they also took part in the live stream. Yeah, I feel like actually for this TikTok live stream, right, it allows us to engage with our customers and also create a better, strong bonded community with our customers.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the TikTok live stream and how you're using that platform to expand your business and brand in just a little while. But for your daughter, I mean, does she see it as a fun thing to do, being involved in all these activities?
I think they were a bit awkward at first, like they didn't really want to appear in front of the camera, or they will just be doing like some funny stuff. Maybe it helps that she has another brother, my number 4, so the 2 of them will always be there during the weekends. And yeah, they are just 1 year apart. So they will just be running around with my live host, yeah, on screen. And then after that, somehow they got a little bit more used to it, and yeah, they can start to talk, and then they will do like some funny hardships to the viewers now. Yeah.
How does it make you feel as not just as a mother of 5 children, but as a successful
listen to this. Yeah, I think it's really tough. I also don't know how I make it through. I just tell myself that I have to show up every single day and be consistent with what I do, and people can see the effort that we put in. Yeah, I'm also very disciplined. Like I feel like you need a lot of self-discipline when you're running a business plus having so many children at the same time.
And we'll hear a little bit more about the most valuable insights and lessons you gained from this learning session when you share with us on YouTube with them as well. So we are chatting with Josephine Lim. She is the founder of fashion label Children. Stay with us on CNA 93. You're listening to a lecture to myself. The CNA 93 quiz keeps going, and we've got $9,000 worth of e-vouchers to give you. Tune into your favorite shows Monday to Friday between 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Listen out for the question of the day and be the first caller with the right answer. 669-11938 when you hear the cue to call. Prizes snowball if no one gets it right. The CNA 93 quiz brought to you by main sponsors Holistic Way Bio-Elixir Rose Placenta Collagen Shot. Radiant skin starts from within and John Brothers Travel. Surging 60 stories forward with Bhutan shots and direct flight tours. So keep playing the CNA 93 quiz. Terms and conditions apply. 96. Remember this number. It'll help your business win big. Because MediaCorp's engaging broadcast and digital platforms give you 96% reach. Because YouTube can unleash the power of MediaCorp with Connect Plus, your free 30-minute ad solution consult from Tuesday, Urgent Pay to Friday, Substitute Pay. Plus, get up to 85% discount. Plus, get up to an additional 2 AAA off. Plus, a sample ad for free. Cases are limited. Register now at connectrsvp.com/radio or call 633-9888.
MediaCorp Connect Plus.
This is CNA 938. Understand Asia.
Good evening, I'm Hui Bong with the news at 5:30. The second round of nuclear talks between the US and Iran has begun, as both countries seek to resolve a decades-long standoff over Tehran's atomic aims. Delegations led by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and US Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff are negotiating indirectly through mediators from Oman. The two sides met at Muscat last week for the first round, which was described as constructive. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly warned of military strikes if an agreement cannot be reached. He remains firm on denying Iran any nuclear weapons, though Tehran says a deal is possible if Washington is realistic. The UN has warned that Gaza is facing the most severe humanitarian crisis since the war began in October 2023. CNA's Grace Shin has more.
The UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says no supplies have reached Gaza for a month and a half. Israel has cut off all food, fuel, and humanitarian aid to the enclave after the ceasefire crumbled at the end of March. Israel has also taken over large parts of Gaza that it calls buffer zones, displacing nearly 420,000 Palestinians, and that's according to UNRWA estimates. Palestinian health authorities have since reported at least 50 deaths across the Strip in the past 24 hours. The death toll since the war has risen beyond 61,700, with thousands more missing under the rubble and presumed dead. Amid fresh Israeli attacks, Palestinian Christian worshippers gathered in an Orthodox church in Gaza City to mark Good Friday. It was the second Good Friday since the war began, and somber congregants wore black and recited traditional prayers.
Elsewhere, at least 4 people have died after a building collapsed in Delhi's Mustafabad area. They were among 14 people rescued from the wreckage. Search and rescue operations are now ongoing, while several people feared to be trapped under the debris. A dog squad has been deployed, as well as the National Disaster Response Force and police teams. The building collapsed at around 2:30 a.m. local time, reportedly triggered by a dust storm of heavy rains that swept through the city overnight. Delhi's chief minister has expressed his condolences and ordered a probe into the cause of the collapse. Nearly 150 people were found dead after a boat capsized in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Hundreds more appear to have been drowned as the vessel was carrying say the tragedy marks the latest in a string of boating accidents in the country. Reports say that fire broke out on the boat after a woman began cooking on board. The explosion ignited a larger blaze which spread, causing panic. Local officials say many passengers jumped into the water without being able to swim. The boat eventually capsized. At least 100 survivors have been rescued. The new Skills Future Job Seeker Support Scheme has been described as one that will enhance employability and provide real economic cushioning. The labor movement says its introduction is very timely given the ongoing global uncertainties. The scheme is aimed at lower and middle income workers who have involuntarily lost their jobs. TNA's Marisha Matthew has more in this report featuring Judy Young, Senior Career Coach at Workforce Singapore.
Like most who have been retrenched, Diana Lucentri was at a loss when it happened to her last year. She had been in the recruitment industry for 14 years and considered taking a pay cut to improve her chances of landing another job. A career coach says barriers to get work again for those retrenched include skills gap and market relevance, and even a lack of confidence to go for interviews.
It could be the other area of networking limitation because they have been in the industry for some time, so they tend to rely on the current and previous connections. So there is a need now to rebuild new connections to join the new industry.
Here's where the new Skills Future Job Seekers Support Scheme comes in. Those eligible can get up to $6,000 over 6 months, but they'll need to gain points by doing tasks like updating resumes, attending career coaching, and job fairs.
Last year we saw a quite significant number of retrenchments, about 13,000 or so in 2024. Come 2025, with many global uncertainties, headwinds, there may be even more various cyclical challenges over and above structural challenges. So I think this scheme is extremely timely to give a leg up and support to some of those who will be affected.
To prevent possible abuse of the scheme, Workforce Singapore says the random checks will be conducted to ensure submitted proof of termination and attendance of events are real and valid.
We also heard from Patrick Tay, Assistant Secretary General of NTUC, in that report by CNA's Marisha Matthew. And that wraps the news. I'm Happy Warm, headlines anytime. CNA Wednesday Agency Asia. This is a quick traffic update for you. Stored vehicle to note on TPE towards SLE before Tampines Road exit. This is causing traffic congestion till Tampines Avenue 7 exit. Elsewhere, roadworks on SLE towards PKE before Mandai Road exit causing traffic congestion till Upper Thompson Road exit to Avoid 1. Take note of a stored vehicle at PIE towards Changi Airport at the Lornie Road to avoid lane 4. And currently slow going on PIE towards Plaza at CTE SLE exit. Do drive with care.
Unleash the power of MediaCorp with Connect Plus.
I'm Zhen Han from MediaCorp. MediaCorp is a great help to small businesses who are able to deliver big reach through 9 of the top 10 radio stations and Channel 8. You won't even need a massive budget.
Register now at connectrsvp.com.
Thanks very much for staying with us. On the letter to myself on CNA 938, I'm Joel Chua. With me in the studio is the founder of the fashion label Chapazit. She's also a mother of 5 superwomen, Josephine Lin. She's our guest today and sharing with us this wonderful journey she's had in the world of business and also raising a family of 5 young children. Youngest 4 years old, eldest 18.
Yes, it is.
Josephine, as you shared with us that journey, you reflect on the most valuable lessons you gained on this journey. You could write a letter to your younger self. What would you say in that letter?
Firstly, I would like to thank myself for being so strong and never giving up. I'm really, really very proud of how far I have come. Yes. Also,
Can I ask you a little bit more about that? When you said you'd like to thank your younger self for being so strong and not giving up, give us a sense of how challenging it was and what kept you going through the most challenging times.
it was really difficult because I started with nothing. Like I didn't come from a rich family, so I actually borrowed all this money. So for the first 3 years in this business, I was in debt, and it was like 60,000 debt. Yeah. And then despite that, I didn't give up because I believe that as long as I keep going and going, one day I'll be able to do it. And I could also see the business picking up because there were more and more orders coming in, and then I tell myself that yes, I have to keep going because success is not going to happen in just 1 or 2 days. Yeah, it took me 3 years to break even. 3 years. Yeah.
So where did you get this confidence from, this self-belief from?
I think it's just my mindset. Like I tell myself I have to make it, and along the way, whenever I see that there's any issues, I just try my very best to solve it. Like you don't have to be greedy to start.
Were you always like that, even when you were much, much younger? Did you always have this great belief?
Yes, I think I do have it. Yes, I have.
Who would you credit to? Who would you credit this dream to, planting these seeds in you?
I think because I have to learn to be very independent at a young age, and I'm also the eldest in the family, so I have to look after my brothers. Yeah, I just feel like I have to be independent from young. Yeah.
Were there people who were with you on this journey as well, who helped you through the most challenging points in time?
It's my 3 sons and my husband. So yeah, these 3 years they were. I was raising my younger son back then, my third one. He was only how old? I can't even remember. It's so long ago. This journey is very 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 long. Back then, I remember it was just 4 months. He was 4 months, and then I started traveling. I started to do full time, like go full time in this. So I traveled with him every month to Bangkok, and then we were just supporting the goods, carrying him. Yeah. I really believe that eventually everything will work out because we are also moving towards the digital how do I put it?
Digital revolution?
Yeah.
Because of the online e-commerce space.
Yes, correct.
New tools and new kinds of concepts will become available to you as a retailer.
Yes, and I believe that one day it's going to evolve into that. I just had a feeling that it's going that direction. So yeah. In 2017, eventually everyone was very receptive to online shopping.
First message to the younger generation is so important. Thank you for being strong and not giving up through this journey, especially during tough times. What's the second message here?
Yeah, so this leads me to the second point, which is to embrace change and innovation. Because the fashion industry moves really fast, when I first started to Bezel in 2009, we were just on live journal. I didn't expect that we would one day be doing live streaming on Instagram, and then after that, TikTok shop. Yeah, so embracing new ways of selling and connecting with customers has transformed everything today. If I'm not receptive to it, really, I wouldn't be here today.
From the technology point of view, what do you think was the most instrumental piece of technology that really helped the business get to the next level?
I think it's really social media. Yeah, it's really social.
Can you share with us a particular platform or a site that really helped you?
I think TikTok Shop has really helped us because before TikTok Shop, when we were just on Instagram, right, we couldn't really connect with our customers. It was just a try-on kind of thing. Like we just try on, show the allowance and all, and then yeah, it was recorded for 2 hours. But right now there's a lot of engagement. Like customers will share with us feedback through the live, and then they will also joke with us, and then give us a lot of opinions on how we can improve the designs. And I think it really helps a
It's
lot.
all live, right?
Yeah, it's all
when you're
live.
doing your live streams. How often do you do your live streams?
I kind of do it every single day.
Every day.
Yeah,
Wow.
every day.
Okay, so that second message here is of embrace change and innovation. That really has been one of the key ingredients in the longevity of your business.
Correct.
Since 2009.
Yes.
What's the next message to in that message to you?
It will be don't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
I'm taking a risk, right? In 2013 all the way to 2017, I was just taking risks. I didn't know what the outcome would be. I just believed that eventually everything will work out. And as long as I put in the effort, as long as I stay consistent, as long as I put in the hard work, eventually I will make it. Yeah.
What was the biggest risk that you took?
I think the biggest risk would be time and money, right? Money for me back then 60,000 was a lot. Yeah. So it was money.
And this was your own money or this was somebody else you raised funds from?
No, I withdraw from the banks. Like I just withdraw from the banks and I took loans from the bank. So I was actually repaying interest every month. I wasn't even paying off the actual amount.
You said the risk was time and money. When it comes to time, what was your age when you started the business?
In 2013, I think I was 20 plus, right? So if let's say I didn't succeed, I will have to go and find a job. Yeah. So time actually matters as well. Yes.
What were the first signs that you noticed that the risk was paying off?
The first sign that I noticed was that the orders were more. Yeah, there were more and more orders. And in order to make sure that we have orders, we actually also put in a lot of effort, not just like sit there and wait for the orders to come in. So I participated in all the flea market events. So we will go and set up booth at Suntec City or St. James, things like that. The first one I remember was St. James, and then back then there was also Big Ben. So this account manager approached us, and then we just onboarded them, and then we tried to gain awareness through other platforms. I put in my name cards in every single parcel to kind of raise awareness because back then nobody knew us. Yeah, so these were some of the things that I did.
Yeah, you know, as you share your story and all the work that you had to put in, I think a lot of us are getting a picture that maybe dispels some of the myths that people have about e-retailers, online retailers, that everything is just done on the portal, you just click, you buy, and everything is so effortless. But behind the scenes, I mean, what you just shared with us is that there's so much physical work that takes place in order to successfully build an e-online business. Give us a sense of how much physical work was involved.
It was a lot of physical work back then because we had to even carry all the parcels to the post office. Back then we didn't have Ninja van.
Yeah, just you and your husband?
Logistics. Yeah, even my mother also, she cycled to the post office to drop off the parcels. We didn't have doorstep delivery like postman courier who come to our doorstep to collect the parcels.
Every day.
Yeah, we don't have it back then.